Viewers, you're welcome to another edition of Coding for AI. My name remains Vincent Hope. Today, we're on building an AI chatbot lesson 6. So, what are we going to learn in this lesson? We're going to learn how we can code to make the AI learn from user input. One of the remarkable things about AI, which is called artificial intelligence, is the ability for AI to learn from users, which is you and I. Every time we use AI, it has the ability to learn from us. So today we're going to learn how to code or build code that will make our chatbot, which is an AI chatbot, to learn from user input. So let's jump right into it. So, like it is, we said, all right, stated here clearly, what you will learn: appending new data and saving it persistently. Now, appending simply means adding new data. So, every time you type a question that the AI is not familiar with, it will ask you, it will ask for an answer, allow you to teach it and save it in its database. So let's see how to do that. So the first thing we'll do, which we already know, which is the step one, is to import the JSON module. And we do that by using the import JSON. So we run this code here, which is already run here. So down, we have used this consistently in these tutorials. Now we go on to step two. Step two is to create the initial knowledge base. Now you have to define the data that you are going to store in the knowledge base. In the previous lesson, we used knowledge base here. The one before, we used raw knowledge base. The one when we started learning, we used data. So you can use any name here, but in this lesson, we use initial data, and we defined the questions as question one: what is your name? And the answer the bot will give is, I am a learning chatbot. The second question here is, how are you? And the answer it will provide the user is, I'm just code, but thanks for asking. So for now, these are the two questions and answers that will be stored in the JSON file we're going to create. Now, the next thing you to do is to save it to a file named knowledgebase.json. So we use the code with open knowledgebase.json. That's open this file knowledgebase.json, comma, right inside that file as f, which is file. Then use the command json.dump initial data. That means everything that is inside this. Let's dump the initial data into this file, which was the one created here, and make it human readable. So let's see how that operates. So we run that too. We also run that. Okay, that's also run. Now the step three, let's scroll down a bit. The step three, we define the functions to load and save the knowledge base. Define the functions, because if Python doesn't understand what the function does, it does not execute it, or it brings up an error. So we define the first function, which is load knowledge base file name. With open file name, read the content as file, return json.loadf. So this function has been defined, load knowledge base. Then the second one is save knowledge base file name dot comma data with open file write. This was read, which is to load. Write is to save as f. json.dump data into file, make it readable. Now for more explanation, what do? We say load knowledge base, loads questions and answers from the JSON file. Remember, we're just defining the functions. Then the next function, which is here, save knowledge base, which is here, saves new data to the file when the bot learns. Now let's make progress. Let's make progress. Step 4. Now we've defined the function. Now we're going to really do the loading of the knowledge base. How do we do that? We say KB. You can use any function or any variable here, but here we choose to use KB equals to function. Sorry, we did not run this, so let's run it. Every cell has to be run. So let me click the run command here. Okay, it has been executed in the memory. Now let's come back here. Step 4, load the knowledge base. So KB equals to load knowledge base, which we defined here, equals to knowledge base.json. Load this file into this function and we run it. Okay, now we come to the step 5, which is actually the most important process of what we want to do here. It said get the user input and check if the bot knows the answer. So we do it as we did it in the previous lesson, while through user input, which is input from the console or keyboard. If user input lower equals to quit, print bot goodbye. That's if the person types quit, break. For Q, which is the question in KB, question if Q question normalize equals to user input lower, print bot, print the answer. Simply means if the user types a question, provide the answer, break. Else, print bot, I don't know the answer. That means what this code will do is that it will check if the user provides a question that is within its database, it provides an answer. If it's not within its database, it returns, I don't know the answer. Then, most importantly, now teach the bot the new answer. Now, if the bot says, I don't know the answer, it will provide you another option. A new answer, input, please teach me. The bot will ask you the question, please teach me. Now, you now say KB, the code now is KB questions append, means add the question. The user input to add the new answer, then save it in the JSON file, which is knowledge base, KB, print, thank you, I have learned that. Now, so let's give it a trial. First, let's check the questions that are inside the JSON file. The questions are, what is your name? The answer is, I am a learning chatbot. The second is, how are you? The third is, I'm just codebot, thanks for asking. So those are the two. So the questions that concerns us now, what is your name and how are you? Those are the questions we're going to ask the chatbot in this, as we come to this point now. So now let's run the code. We run the code. Okay, if we run the code now, it brings out the question. Let me scroll up a bit. So if I say, what is your name? Question mark, press enter. It says, I am a learning chatbot. So he has given the answer to the first question, which is inside his knowledge base stored in the JSON file. The second question is, how are you? Let's go back there. How are you? I say how. Okay, click here. How are you? Question mark. I press enter. Now it says, I am just code, but thanks for asking. So it has provided the two answers correctly. Now let me ask it something that is not stored in the file. Now I can say, what exactly do you do? Question mark, press enter. Now you see, now it says, I don't know the answer. Why did it say that? Because it's not in its knowledge base. Now it has added something interesting. Say, please teach me. Now you say, what exactly do you do? You say, I don't know the answer. So I will help it by saying, answer questions. So the response to this question, what exactly do you know? I am helping the chatbot to learn. I say answer questions and I press enter. So now it says, thank you, I have learned that. Now let me ask it the same question. What exactly do you do? What exactly do you do? Question mark. And I press enter. Now you can see it says answer questions. Now what has it done? It has learned from my question and also added that answer. Let me take another one. Let's say, what else do you do? Now, what else do you do? It's not a question in its knowledge base or data file. I press enter. It says, I don't know the answer. Please teach me. Then I will now say, help people. Help people. That is going to be the answer. And I press enter. Okay. Say, thank you. I have learned that. Now, let me ask the question again. What else do you do? Okay. What else do you do? Question mark, press enter. You can see now it says help people. Help people. So you can see the chatbot is learning. If I ask you the first question again, which it has in database, let me scroll up. I asked you the first question, which is in his database. What is your name? It is there in the database. I am a learning chatbot. So it has all these questions, both the ones I have that was there before and the one it has learned. Then the last question, you can now say quit. Remember, the code is there to quit the chatbot. Let's see the code. You can say, if user quit, so bot will say goodbye. So let me quit, and I press enter. It says goodbye. So now we have created a chatbot that learns. Now let's quickly go through what we have done so far. So the first step we did, we imported JSON module. Secondly, we created the initial JSON file. First, put the data, that the questions and the answers in the data file. We now created the file as this by dumping this initial data into the JSON file. The third thing we did is we defined the functions for the load and the save the knowledge base. For the function for the load, this is what we use, load knowledge base. For the function of the save, we use save knowledge base. Then the next thing we did was to load the knowledge base into a variable called KB. We can use A, B, C, or any other variable. So use the JSON file defined as the knowledge base and load it here. Then finally we came here. We used the while true loop and else. Define the input, which was going to input, which will ask us questions. Then if it doesn't get the answer here, we had the new teach the bot a new answer. So this code exactly here is to teach the bot the new answer from every time we added the input. So by the time you come here now, this is actually the full code. So all the full code here has been rewritten. So let me scroll it down carefully. Import JSON, there, save it to the file. All of them have been rewritten here, just in case you would need to. Let me scroll it down gradually, just in case you will want to use it for your practice or your tutorial. See the full code we have here, the full code coming here. Okay, see the full code. So this is how you create a learning chatbot, a chatbot that learns from its user. I hope you have learned something worthwhile today. So my name remains Vincent Hope.